Welcome back to JB Reviews. It's been a long time since I've done a video on a 4500 cabin chassis. It's been like 3 years. So when I started my channel, I did a couple videos on this. But normally when you go to dealerships, you always see 5500. So it's very rare to see this truck. Now, I'm going to answer that question. Should you go 4500 or 5500? That is the question. Let's get into the video. Most people would argue that this is the truck you need if you're planning on towing over 20,000 pounds. And I kind of agree because you have payload for days. Now, this truck is an SLT trim, and I will do a quick build on one for you at the end of this video if you are interested to see how I would build it. And one thing I would tell you is you can get a lot of cool features on this truck. Now, this one does have the chrome front end, as you can see. And the only thing I probably would have added maybe is the aluminum 19.5-inch wheels. That's probably the only thing I see that I would have added. But nevertheless, I mean, these steel wheels look actually kind of nice. They have like a silver finish to them. And if you are looking at a 3500, I did notice that they do a blackout wheel for that too. They might do it on this one, but again, I have to do the build online. But check out this ridiculous front suspension. You do have a wide front track. And yeah, this thing has a great turning radius. This is partially the reason why most people step up from a 35 to a 4500 is to get this more tighter turning radius, and you get these more robust tires for the highway. These are going to be a Hankook, and as I mentioned, they're going to be a 19.5. And then here is the tire size. A little bit easier to read on this side. 225, 70, 19.5. And then here are your load ranges. So this is going to be 110 PSI's code. So you have 3,970 pounds for single, and then dual is going to be 3,750, which is pretty darn good. And then here's just a better look at that suspension on this side. And this does have that crew cab configuration too. I do know that you can get a color match for this if you like. And then check out this ridiculous frame on this truck. This is why you buy a cabin chassis. You see this right here? Look at those mounting points for the leaf springs. Doesn't get any better than this. Now, I will say, this truck rides awful, but when you put a load on it, it's pretty darn good. Now, I'm surprised to see that they do not have the additional fuel tank, but this is going to be a 52-gallon tank here. And I cannot remember what the DEF capacity is, but I will tell it to you right now in the video. But let's take a quick peek at the suspension on a Ram 3500. Let me try to find one here. Hold on one second. So I couldn't find a dually for a good example here, but here is the mounting for the leaf springs here. So this is actually welded into the frame as opposed to the cabin chassis. It's literally bolted into the frame. So a lot more robust than what you're seeing here. And that just goes to show you why if you need to tow heavy, you should definitely go 4500. Now, as far as the tire tread goes, these are a little bit more aggressive than the front ones. So just keep that in mind. And as far as the axle ratio goes, this does come standard with a 410 rear. And for the 4500s, I don't see that you can pick another option for this truck. Now, if you were to get a gas, I think you go up to like a 489 or something like that. It's something crazy. But overall, this is going to be a 60-inch cab to axle. The only other option is going to be an 84-inch if you get a crew cab. So this is going to have a detuned Cummins. It's going to be good for 360 horsepower, 800 pound-feet of torque. I believe this is class leading. Now, it is hooked up to the legendary Eisen transmission. It's the AS69RC. And I think that this is the best hotshot truck for long distance towing. Ram has built a name for itself with this Cummins diesel. And the reason why is because it's reliable. And you can go 15,000 miles on oil changes, so it's just a really good option if you put a ton of miles on your cars a year. Now, as far as the interior goes, there are a ton of options that you can get. For example, if you would like to get the 8.4-inch display that is available, this one does have the auxiliary switches, and this one has a mechanical shifter for the full drive system. 4 USBs down below, and there's a lot of nice comfort features in this truck too. And I've always been a fan of Ram's interiors. Like, I think that this is really nice for even like a base model cabin chassis truck. Single zone climate, and you still have all your lights for the interior. Air vents down below, and storage below the seat out back too. This is not a 60/40, so it all goes up together. But let me show you one over here that has the larger 8.4-inch display. So this is a single cab here. It's also an SLT, and as you guys can see, it does have the larger 8.4-inch display, so that is an option. And this is most likely going to be a tow truck too, because this has a longer axle. And this is also a 5500 too. And this is probably one option I would definitely recommend. Vinyl floors. Now, as far as the gross axle weight rating up front, it's going to be 7,000 pounds. The rear is only 12,000 pounds. If you get a 5500, it's going to be 13.5. And the gross fuel weight rating is going to be 16.5 in this truck. You can derate it down to 16,000 if you like. Now, they're not going to show you a payload number for this truck because it's basically factory incomplete. So once you add on the upfit and everything like that, then they put a sticker on the door showing how heavy the truck is. But let's go ahead and build this truck online really quickly, and I'll show you some of the options I would definitely choose if you're looking for one of these trucks next year. Before I show you my build, I want to show you what's new for 2023. Now, unfortunately, there's nothing groundbreaking here. The Ram chassis cabs are getting the trailer reverse steering, which honestly I think is a waste of time for this truck. That's just my personal opinion. The only people I could see benefiting from this are people who tow RVs or horse trailers, but most people who tow horse trailers don't need this either. So if you don't know what the trailer reverse steering is, it basically allows you to get a few measurements, and then it has like a dial that you can rotate left or right, so that way you can back up the trailer easier. I probably would never use that. Maybe if you're new to towing, that will probably be very beneficial for you. So if you're getting into hot shot, that might be really, really important to you. But the next thing is the digital rear view mirror, and this might be important. If you have your own trailer, this might be of good use, because then you can put a camera on the back of your trailer, and as you're going down the road, you can basically see real time what's happening behind the trailer. You can of course turn that off if you like. The new wireless trailer camera prep kit. So this is going to give you up to 4 cameras, including night vision. And I could kind of see this being a benefit, again, if you're towing your own trailer. But apart from that, again, it's probably not something that I would really care for. But they are using the new tow mirrors, and this is probably the biggest benefit because you don't have to flip them up anymore. They're just either in regular mode or tow mode. And so you should be able to push a button. They will extend out on a higher trim level. I'm not sure if they do it for the lower trim levels. But as far as the 360 camera view, I see this as a good benefit, because if you aren't towing, this does make it a lot easier to park your truck. And then lastly, they do have the class exclusive mirror mounted camera system, and then including park sense activated front and side camera views and turn signal activated blind spot views. So those are the most notable things here, and all in all, the truck is basically going unchanged. They're just adding a few like towing features for the truck. Alright, so if you are looking for a cabin chassis 4500 or 5500, there is 4 different trim levels here. You can go all the way up to a limited, which is the highest trim level for the Ram segment, or you can go to the tradesman, which is what a lot of people choose in this segment here. So I'm going to build an SLT just for this example. So for 4-wheel drive, 60-inch cab to axle is going to be $60,355. It's only a couple $100 more if you go to an 84-inch cab to axle. But in this example, we are going to build a 60-inch. So let's go ahead and see the build. I've already built it out just for time's sake. So 6.7 Cummins is $9,095. And it comes with that Eisen transmission. It's the AS69RC. You can get the 16.5 standard
GWR, or you can derate it down to 16,000. Now, I did mention in the video you can't get a 444. You cannot get a 444, but you can. You have to click another button for it, and I'll show it to you here in a second. If you want to get the electronic shift on the fly transfer case, you can, or you can get the mechanical one on the floor. I actually prefer the one on the floor. Dual alternators goes without saying. I forgot to click this, the manual DPF. This is good if you do plan on idling a lot. That way you can allow the truck to go into regeneration while it's just sitting stationary. Who would buy a cabin chassis truck without the additional fuel tanks? 100% would do that. And a few other things I got here. The voltage monitoring auto idle up system is good to have. And especially if you plan on staying at truck stops and you start the truck up, you want to have it idle up for you. This is good to have. Get that engine warm before you start towing again. And then of course engine shutdown if you're traveling a lot and you don't want to wait around for the truck to cool down. You can just set a timer for it. I would definitely do power takeoff, even though I probably wouldn't use it. It's just good to have if you plan on, selling a truck in the future. And then DOT certified roadside safety kit, cold weather, and I do like the fact that you can get the LED lights on the SLT. I would strongly recommend it. $945. You do have to click the luxury group. Here's what's going to come in this package. Be sure to pause it if you like. There's a lot of good stuff in there too. You have the power adjustable pedals and just a few other things inside of there. And then I did skip the safety group, the tow mode digital rear view. I don't think that you really need these things. Again, if you're maybe towing a horse trailer long distance, these things might come as a benefit for you, but for me, I wouldn't use them. And then, as I mentioned, if you want to get that 444, you have to click the max tow package, which is $945. So I did pick the granite crystal. I think it's a pretty color. It looks good with the chrome and the 19.5-inch wheels. And I did the mirror mounted auxiliary reverse lamps. This is good when you're towing at night. They really do come in handy. I forgot to click this, and I think there might be a reason why. So that's why I think that I didn't really care to have the parking sensors, but you know what? I would like to have that center mount personally. This is good to have. And then, because we have the premium lights, we don't need to add fog lights. That body color fender flare, as I mentioned, you can paint that for $100. I did choose the 19.5-inch wheels. There's two options, so I did get the set of 6. And what that's going to do, just so you know, I probably should explain it to you, right? So if you don't get this, you're going to get 4 aluminum wheels, and then the duals are going to have a steel wheel on the back, basically. So I wanted all 6 of them to be aluminum. And then here's a few other things. And then rear sliding glass, I forgot to click that too, and I definitely would want that. Actually, the rear window defroster removed, okay, undo. So I'd rather have the rear window defroster personally. You can get a nice interior color, like if you get white or any other color than gray. Like this saddle, it's called light mountain brown interior. It looks really nice actually. If I got granite crystal, I would definitely get the gray. Now I believe that the two-way power lumbar does come in a package. Actually, no, it doesn't. So I would definitely add that too. And then I chose the 8.4 with nav. You can get the 12-inch display. I would always get nav because I've had a couple instances where my phone dies, and it's just nice to have navigation built in just for that event that you need it. You can get the 9 Alpine speakers with subwoofer included in the cabin chassis. Love that Ram does that. And then that rear window defroster is good to have. And then moving on down, black vinyl floors. This is a must in a truck like this. Trailer brake was $465. And I did the tire fill alert. If you don't know what this is, if you are filling the tires, the horn will chirp once you get to the tire pressure that you want. And here's a few other things. I did remote start. And I did the rear backup camera, which is good to have, I think, personally. And that's pretty much it. And here's the total right here. $82,415, and figure a bed on the back would probably cost you another $10,000 or $15,000 or so. So you should come in right under 100 or right at 100.
I am at Larry H. Miller here in Sandy. They have a ton of trucks. Now, they did tell me all these trucks are sold, unfortunately. So what I would recommend is if you are in need of a truck if someone were to back out of one of these cabin chassis, I would reach out to them and say, hey, if someone does, please let me know. And you could potentially be able to pick up one of these commercial trucks out here. They have a ton. They're literally just everywhere. Like literally everywhere out here. They're even over here. So if you are in the market, be sure to give them a look up. But thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys soon. Oh yeah, a few more over there too.
Almost forgot. Should you go 4,500 or should you go 5,500? Well, let's look at the numbers really quickly. So if you're looking for max tow for 4,500, it's going to be 28,770 pounds. That's at a 444 axle, 16.5 GVWR. It's going to give you 7,920 pounds of payload. However, if you are looking at a 5,500, that's going to have a 489 axle ratio available, 19.5 GVWR, which gives you 10,940 pounds of payload and 34,290 pounds of towing capacity. So that answers the question. Do you need more towing and payload? Go 5,500. If you don't, go 4,500.